What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for episode 3 of our Unpopular Opinion series. And let's get straight into it, and let's go to Holly Agomba. Big up, Holly. And she says, Winks is Winks is better suited on my dartboard than he is on the pitch.
Is that unpopular right now? I'm not sure if there's no unpopular opinion, but yeah, look, he's not having a great time of it, is he? And we look so much better with him off the pitch, don't we? When Bentancur and Højbjerg, we look so much more solid. Like, this being outnumbered in the centre only becomes an issue when Winks is there. Yeah. Like, all of we played against Man City with Bentancur and Højbjerg in the two. Like, everyone says, oh, this 3-4-3 is such a, we have to go back to 3-5-2, but it's only an issue. It's only an issue when Winks is there. As soon as Bentancur and Højbjerg come back in, we look all right. Yeah. We look fine. Even, I'm trying to think, when we played Wolves at home, didn't Højbjerg get dropped for that game?
Yes, he did.
And Winks, it was Winks and Bentancur, we got outnumbered completely. Middlesbrough got outnumbered completely, Winks and Højbjerg.
Winks was there, wasn't he?
So Hampton, Bentancur had to come on for Højbjerg, but Winks was not having the best game. So there's always an issue. The only thing I can remember is Højbjerg and Bentancur started Burnley away, but it was 0-0 at half-time when Bentancur went off. So who knows what would happen if he stayed on. So it only becomes an issue when Winks is on the pitch, really.
Yeah.
I think we can't play 3-4-3 with Winks there, basically.
The only thing is with Winks, I mean, just Conte always talks him up, saying about he's a player that he can rely on. I mean, what can he rely on him for?
Don't know. So he can rely on him to run around maybe, but not get near anyone.
Literally. So that's that from Holly. Go on, let's go to the next one.
Cherry Fighter says, we should appreciate Daniel Levy and the work he's done. Well, don't let Brian Daigle see this one.
That is most definitely unpopular.
That's definitely an unpopular opinion. To be honest, though, when up until probably, I remember when we did that and that stream about 20th anniversary stream with Levy.
We were backing him up at the time.
We were just saying he has done some good stuff, and I still back that up. Like, he has done some good things, and the club is in a different place where it was when he took over, just in terms of being a global team. Like, we're a bigger team, bigger stadium, like, we're much more of a attraction for players than we were back then. But
the fact of the matter is since Poch has come here, since Poch joined Spurs, basically, it's been a train wreck of bad decisions up until now, pretty much.
Yeah. Since Poch left Spurs.
No, even when he came here. When he came here, Poch did his magic, but every transfer window under Poch was pretty terrible, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So I think since Poch has come here, I think the decision-making has been terrible.
Yeah, we just got away with it because Pochettino was still keeping the boat afloat for years, and he was not even there. He was thriving under the conditions, but he could only do it for so long. We kept saying he's turning water into wine. He could only do that for so long. I think we should acknowledge that Levy, not everything Levy has done is bad. That's true, but doesn't mean he's not the one holding us back, and it doesn't mean the way Enid can run. Look, they've been here 20 years now, and some players can go stale. Managers can go stale. Why can't ownerships go stale?
Our ownership has gone stale.
And it has gone stale. It's gone stale a while ago now. And the way they operate, it's like Groundhog Day with this boardroom. Over and over again, they do the same things. Everyone can see it coming a mile away. How we treat the transfer window is the same thing every single transfer window. And we're expecting different results. Look, he had some great results with it. Van der Vaart last minute. Like there were some things he did well back in the day. But the operating in that way now is becoming increasingly more difficult and harder and more outdated. And that's the truth.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is actually this January transfer window just gone is probably the first transfer window where we've brought in 2 players of a high standard that can actually come in and say you want them in the first team week in, week out. Since probably...
And we've still moved in the last few days.
Yeah, and we still didn't do enough business, and we got rid of 4 and only brought in 2. The fact of the matter is, every time is a step backwards, there's a step forwards, there's 4 steps backwards.
Yeah,
and that's just Enoch, unfortunately. But let's move on. Really generic user, Mr. Random AF guy says this Man United team is like the Spurs team post the Champions League final. People thought some seemingly exciting signings and a decent last season made them way better than everyone else, but really there isn't much difference between them and us and Arsenal. And it's continued as well. And he says, But because people love "this is Man United" narrative, most people haven't realised it yet. The media can't possibly believe a world where they aren't better than everyone else. Basically, Spurs shouldn't be scared of them, and it isn't an earth-shattering achievement if we get top 4. Good and an overperformance, but not earth-shattering.
Probably is earth-shattering from where we were under when Conte took over and where we were under Nuno and how the football we weren't even getting shots on target under Nuno. Let's get it right.
Yeah, but I think that what he's saying in terms of Man United is like a team like Spurs post the CL final. I think when you look at this Man United team, there's stars and top quality players all around it, and I just genuinely believe they just need a good manager, a top manager to come in, sort these egos out, get them playing football again, bring in maybe one or two as well, and you'll see the Man United of old back again. Maybe not of old, winning Premier League titles year in, year out, but you'll see a top-level team performing at a top level, in my opinion. And I think when you're looking at the two squads, Tottenham, Arsenal, or the three squads, and Tottenham, Arsenal, and Man United, they are miles ahead of both of us in terms of quality.
Yeah, and we knew the Tottenham squad was going stale even before Poch's last season, so it was no surprise when things did eventually kind of explode under Poch. It was a bit of a surprise how badly it went, but it was no like, oh my god, this is like the best squad ever. How is he doing this? It's kind of like, well, we knew he needed a refresh ages ago. Yeah. But Man United is different. I think they got a top quality squad there.
Agreed.
Oliver says, I have a huge dislike for Moussa Sissoko. I'm not sure why any Spurs fan likes him and sings his name. He robbed us of the most important game in our history. It was never a penalty, Oliver.
That is sick.
It was never a penalty.
That actually has made me throw up a little bit in my mouth. And I'm just
going
to give you one rendition. Oh, Moussa Sissoko. Nah, come on, man. Moussa Sissoko, he had a terrible start to his career. He turned it round, and he was one of our best players that season. He got the ball. He was driving forward. Yes, he didn't contribute much in front of goal, but I think that he provided very positively for the team. He always gave 100%. We knew what Moussa Sissoko was. He wasn't like... We knew exactly what he was and what he brought to the table, and I think that he always gave his all for Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. So I don't hold that moment against him in the final. I don't think it was a penalty. Now, right now that's not a penalty by the laws of the game. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was a penalty even then. So I think he got screwed over. The referee screwed up. I don't think Sissoko did. And I think he was a good servant for the club, and I always have respect for him.
Yeah, completely agree with that one. Next up is Echo_COYS saying Kulusevski in the long run will be more successful than both Sancho and Diaz.
Oh, so bring Sancho into the table as well. Similar players, actually, think Sancho and Kulusevski. I actually think they're quite similar profile, more creative wingers rather than speedsters on the sides.
Sancho's fairly quick, isn't he?
I'm not saying they're slow. I don't think Kulusevski's slow, but I'm saying their biggest attributes are not their pace; it's their creativity. Do I think he's going to be better than Sancho? How old is Sancho now? 20. He's still a similar age, aren't they?
Yeah, they are similar age.
So I think Sancho's more proven in the Bundesliga than Kulusevski is in the Serie A. But if the way Kulusevski keeps going,
Sancho,
21, so same age as Kulu. Well, I think he'll be better than Sancho. It's hard for me to say. Right, I don't think he will be.
I actually
think I've seen right now.
You don't think Kulu will be better than Sancho,
but not based on what I've seen.
I actually think Sancho hasn't... he's shown a bit in the Premier League in spits and spurts. I don't think he's done too much in the Premier League as of yet.
Kulu's settled in more, but I think it might be more to do with the way he's played under Conte, right, rather than Sancho. And I think Sancho struggled to... they sacked Oli and everything.
Yeah, there's different circumstances.
Yeah,
isn't there?
If you put Sancho in Tottenham, maybe he would look as good as Kulusevski would.
Yeah, I've actually got a feeling that Kulu... can be better than Sancho, but I don't think he can be better than Diaz. I actually think he's shown more than Sancho so far, and Sancho's actually been here for longer.
It's true. No, that is true, but I think Sancho's definitely struggled to settle in, hasn't he? But I do think, in terms of what I've seen from him at Dortmund and stuff, and recently as well, he's in good form as well, Sancho. I think he's starting to get more settled, and I think right now,
great goal against Man City, isn't it?
I think he's just ahead of him. I don't know. I think Kulusevski, I'm very excited about him. I want to see more from him before I make to say for sure.
Yeah.
Anonymous Troll says our scouting/signings have been much better than people credit. We've backed managers since Pochettino. with a good amount of money. The issue is more changing the managers and styles drastically than rubbish signings. Doherty, Emerson, and Hill all suffered this reason. I do think that's partly true. I think it's not just the fact we've changed managers, also the change of philosophy and change of how we approach games.
You think our scouting and signings have been much better than people give credit for?
Well, if by that metric, he's saying they're not completely useless, like people say. I think a lot of them have suffered from, like, for example, Ndombele, Lo Celso, I don't think are as bad as people say they are.
Mismanaged.
I think a lot of it has been mismanaged. Not to say they don't have their own responsibilities, which they do, like not putting in the effort and stuff like that. But I do feel like these players are not completely useless, like they've been portrayed to be. And I think the change in philosophy and all that kind of stuff has hampered us.
Why did it go wrong with them? Because I agree with you. I think they are top talents, both Ndombele and Lo Celso. I really admire them as football players.
I think they came here thinking they were playing a different kind of football and thinking it was going to be a different way of playing, under Pochettino, possession-based, more attacking. And then after a few months, Mourinho comes in, it's completely flipped. I'm not saying that's completely why they didn't work out, but I think that's definitely part of the reason. And I think it definitely contributed to them not being the successes we hoped they would be. 100% that contributed. And that's what he's trying to say. I think he's not saying our scouting's been wonderful. He's just saying they're better than people give them credit for.
All right, yeah. I mean, I'd accept that, but then you look at players like Jedson Fernandez.
Jedson's terrible. He's just woeful. And Nkudu and people like that. Yeah.
Nkudu was, though, under Poch. He's talking about post-Poch.
Yeah, true. Post-Poch.
Yeah.
I think some of the players have been better than... Look at Doherty. He's all the time played his right position. He's putting in some good performances.
Look at some of the players. Look, Doherty, I don't think is good enough for what we're looking to do.
But is he better than being completely useless like he's shown
in 2 games?
Yeah, but could he be? Like,
potentially.
He showed.
We don't know. We don't know that about Emerson either. We don't know if he's going to be completely useless or not. Joe Rodon as well. We don't know anything about him. He's been here for how long now?
18 months, yeah.
He's been here for that long. He's a post-Poch signing. On the left back, I think Reguilon has been a good signing. Sessegnon was there whilst Poch. In the central midfield, Højbjerg. Again, Højbjerg, a good signing, but when we're trying to kind of get to that same level that we were under peak Poch, it's still not good enough. So I think a lot of these players are probably good players, but not good enough for what we want to do.
Yeah, probably. But a lot of them, he's just saying the ones who we've written off and saying are completely useless. Maybe a lot of it is not the case. But if we're talking about post-Poch signings, then I guess Ndombele and Lo Celso, don't know if they come into it or not.
Yeah, they don't come into it.
All right,
let's move on. And Carlos Vinicius as well was one of them. But anyway, KJ Hotspur saying a lot of Tottenham's troubles of not being a top team is because we don't use the academy to the full extent and don't give a lot of young players chances they deserve. What do you say to that?
I think that's partly true because obviously you have to be good enough to get the chances, and maybe they haven't proven to be that. But I do think if you look at a lot of very successful teams, they do have a few academy products who they've brought through.
So do we.
We have Kane at the moment. Who else
we've got in our squad right now? We got Kane,
Winks.
Tanganga, Winks, Skip.
Kane, Tanganga, Winks, Skip. 4 of them in the first team squad. So yeah, we are starting to bring them through more of late. Could we give? Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think who
our
we
bench
could
as
give.
well is full of academy products.
Yeah, true. Do we? But I feel like, except for Kane, how many of them have been real successes? Probably like Skip at the moment, looking like it. Winks, I guess, is part of the first team, so you could put him as a success.
What do you call a success in the first team? Do you call it? I actually look at the academy, and if we can sell a player for 10 million or more, I would call that a success as well.
Yeah, true. So Tom Carroll, Andros Townsend,
Mason, Bentaleb, all these players that we sold for money. Just because they're not contributing to the first team, they're still bringing in money that can contribute to the first team.
I feel like the pathway under Poch might have been a bit clearer than the pathway now. But then again, as you say, Skip's coming through. Tanganga's got a decent amount of minutes, so I don't know. Maybe that isn't as good a point.
And obviously they're trying their hardest to bring through the likes of Dane Scarlett and people like that.
Troy Parrott, they gave minutes to before they realised he wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And you know what? For all of Jose Mourinho, everyone was saying, "Oh, he's not going to give youth a chance" and all this stuff. He gave Troy Parrott his debut, right? Or not his debut, but he played him in an important game in the FA Cup. He gave Dane Scarlett his debut. So I think that also that thing with Jose Mourinho and youth was a bit overplayed as well.
Yeah, I don't think that was an issue. I wonder we'll see how it is under Conte.
All right, let's move on. And the next one, you go to the next one.
GXCK says we left White Hart Lane at the wrong time. We would have succeeded if we stayed in it for a few more seasons. It was a fortress and teams were scared to play in it.
It's funny, this one, because I remember when we first started the channel was in that season we left White Hart Lane, right? In the last season of White Hart Lane. And in one of the very first videos, me and you did a debate, and you were on the side of the debate saying, I said that I think we need to stay at White Hart Lane, and I think we got a good chance of winning the league. And you were saying, "Nah, let's just get into the new stadium" or something like that. I can't remember the exact debate, and that's similar to this. And I genuinely believe, and I still believe now, if we would have stayed at White Hart Lane for that next season, we would have had more of a chance than being at Wembley. But having said that, I actually don't think Wembley was as much as a problem as people made out as we were moving there.
Yeah, it was maybe for the first few weeks, but then once we got over it, we were pretty good at Wembley anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think that was... look, and if you're telling me if we would have stayed at White Hart Lane and we could have spent some of that stadium money and invested in the squad, maybe I agree. But if we would have been the same team as it was at Wembley, I don't think we all of a sudden would become title challengers.
Well, we were title challengers in the previous two seasons.
Yeah, but then we fell off.
Yeah. But why did we fall off in that particular season?
Why? Because we didn't have we signed Sanchez and Llorente, and that was it, wasn't it? We didn't really, and we sold Walker. We placed in Aurier. Like, I don't think just because we stay at White Hart Lane that means we all of a sudden could win the league.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that we only mount that title challenge if we use the stadium money, some of the stadium money, to invest in the squad.
We probably could have done better than we did. Maybe we would have finished second instead of third. We wouldn't have won the league. We finished third that season, so it's not like we played awfully, and we were very unlucky to be knocked out of the champ. Maybe we could have done better in the Champions League. Maybe that was something you can argue.
Where did we get in the Champions League?
Because we got knocked out. We got knocked out by Juventus.
Oh, that was that year. Yeah. We should have gone through that.
But then again, we battered them. We should have gone through. We got really unlucky.
We literally, for the whole 180 minutes of football, they played better in maybe 10 minutes of that whole 180 minutes.
They scored 2 goals and they got through.
Yeah. All right, that brings an end to episode 3 of the Unpopular Opinions. Let me know your opinions in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.